Hey everybody, this is the Sliders Review, and I'm here today to talk to you about The Boys Season 4, Episode 1, 2, and 3. So, The Boys are finally back. The boys and the two girls and everything. It's been a long freaking time. I love the first two seasons. I own it on DVD. The third season's all right, but there were just some things in the third season just didn't click with me. And I don't know, it was just kind of starting to whimper. Like I was really expecting it to be like really, really, really awesome, but it was just like all right. Then Gen V was like really good and everything. And so, I was waiting for season 4 to finally come back, and now it's back. Which, by the way, like I thought Gen V was supposed to lead into like The Boys season 4, and so far there's been no reference of that, and if it is, it's like really tiny. So what was the point in watching that if it didn't truly lead into season 4? But it's still good nevertheless, and you should see it. Now, I've never watched Diabolical, the animated series, because it's an animated series. But like The Boys is just an awesome concept, like superheroes that are fake and are really the villains and everything, and people worship them, and they don't even go around saving people and stuff. And so when it came to this season, I remember like a couple of days, maybe a week ago, Anthony Starr, who plays Homelander, and also the Kripke guy, who's like the created the show, they started talking about like wokeness and everything, and fans who might not like it. I'm assuming those that like argued about it probably saw like an advanced screening and saw something they didn't like, but the question was, what was it exactly they didn't like? And so when you watched this season, you can clearly tell what it is that pissed them off. So basically, it's too bad that this season didn't come out in 2016 because, like, basically, this season is a play on, like, Donald Trump when he became president, Magna, like, right wing Republicans, and like stuff like that. It would have been perfect for 2016 because pretty much every new television show that came out was trying to capitalize on that. From Star Trek Picard to this Canadian slasher show called Slasher Season 3, they capitalized on that big time. I'm like, what the world? Y'all a Canadian television show. And also that of like the Party of Five reboot. Now, many years ago, I talked about how there's a bunch of reboots going around and this and that. And I said one of the reboots was a Latino version of Party of Five. Party of Five came out in the 90s and it starred a white cast. Instead of the parents dying in a crash, now the parents are deported back to Mexico. Get it? And so the children have to like fend on their own. Needless to say, it only lasted one season. Nobody watched it. I did not watch it. I forgot it even came out and everything. But I had no interest in watching it because it's a reboot and everything. And so that was around the time a lot of television shows were capitalizing on the election and post the election. But then after a while, they cooled their jets and they stopped because people started getting tired of the commentary and stuff. So now, once again, it's brought back up and everything. And this is the most accurate depiction I have ever seen of that like era and everything. And from like the Fox News to Tucker Carlson to Megyn Kelly, like people making stuff up on the internet and people believing it and stuff. Like, it's about as accurate as it can get. Also, one of the male characters in here turns out to be bi, just like out of nowhere and stuff. And I'm just kind of, and it just literally came out of nowhere. I'm like, dude, after like 4 seasons, they revealed this, and he's been bi the entire time, but there's been no indication of it. It just came out of nowhere. It feels almost like a little bit like forced writing a little bit because it literally just came out of nowhere. Because when it does come to the boys, you have to remember all of their LGBT characters are now gone. Maeve was pretty much the only one, I think. And now that she's gone, I guess they needed another LGBT character. And so they just made this one character, and it literally just came out of nowhere and stuff. And so, like, with this season, we now know that the fifth season is going to be the last, sadly. They said they want to end on a high note. You gotta admit, this show has been on quite the journey. Like, finding out what the superheroes are really about, from how they're, like, created and everything. And, there's this organization that's trying to take them out, and they do whatever they want. And some people don't want to be in it no more. And, like, the people who hate them, they starting to take, like, superpower formula themselves, and they're trying to bring down this big soup organization and get people to realize these people are not really heroes. They're actually the villains. And even the people who go to like AA meetings about like, how terrible soups are and how they lost like limbs because, doing it in the bed and everything. And yet they still work for these people. And the people who work for them are terrified of them, and how Homelander is literally losing his mind and stuff. And and Butcher and everything, like the extremes that he's willing to go on just to defeat Homelander, he literally became his worst enemy in season 3. So it is literally just like crazy and stuff, the journey this show has gone on. And as for the show, like being woke, it's always been that in terms of Hollywood standards. They race bent characters, like A-Train is supposed to be white. They have gender bent people, like that CIA woman is supposed to be a man. Stormfront's supposed to be a man. So they've always done that and stuff. Maeve was like bisexual and stuff. So they've always done that stuff. So there's no reason to complain now because you want to cry your eyes out and everything and make your YouTube money and stuff. Anyway, so basically, after the events of last season, the election's over, and now one lady whose name I forgot has already won. I forget what she was going for. I think she's like governor or something like that, or VP governor or something like that. Anyway, she won, and the president dude doesn't want her to finish like the job or the mission that she is on. She wants to go all the way to the top, but she can't get her hands too dirty and everything. And so he's trying to prevent it to where soups can't work in the government, police, fire department, military. So he's really trying to combat that, but he can't like, throw out all his cards too, because she'll catch on and pop his head and everything. So like the boys and two girls now, they used to be boys and the girl, because Kimiko, they used to call her the girl and everything in the comics. And so like they're still doing what they're doing, trying to stop the soups and stuff like that. Butcher is no longer in charge, and now Mother Milk is, and they are now butting heads. It's almost like every season they find somebody from Mother Milk to like butt heads with. First it was Frenchie, then it was Huey and everything. Now it's Butcher again. And so like he doesn't like the way Butcher is doing things, because Butcher is Butcher. He just like a loose cannon and like breaking their cover and stuff like that. And so it's to the point where he literally kicks them out the group. So they're having like, a hard time with that. And then it's like, you have the Huey and like the Star, what's her name? Well, it's Annie January now because she's no longer Starlight. And so those two are still a couple, but they don't act like it for some reason, but they're still a couple. And so like she has her own like protesters and everything that are supposed to be kind of like, the Democrats and the women fighting for like abortion and women productive rights, just stuff like that. And then, of course, you have the Homelander protesters, which is supposed to be like Magna, and they're constantly like going at it and everything. And so that's her story arc this season. Huey, on the other hand, he is like, dealing with his dad. His dad had a stroke. Didn't see his dad have a stroke, but his dad just had a stroke out of nowhere. And his mom is taking care of him. Now, it's strange because, like, him and his mom have not spoken since he was 6 years old. She abandoned him. Not only that, but she's working for Vought. And not only that, but she's been put in attorney of power or something like that. Basically, she controls all his assets and everything like that. I bet you anything. She's working for Vought. We never saw him have a stroke. She's now in charge of all his possessions. I bet you she caused it along with Vought because, of course, they hate Huey and everything. And so, like, when it comes to that mother's milk, basically he's just dealing with Butcher. Those two are not getting along, and he just wants those two to get along, but they can't. Even to the point where Butcher has to save all their lives and everything. But he still doesn't want him on the team because Butcher is such a loose cannon. As for Butcher himself, like, he is basically trying to get Ryan back, and he can't get Ryan back. His CIA friend told him, you're gonna have to kill him. They want to use Ryan for, I think, like experimentations and stuff like that, or at least to get them on get him on their side. But he's still with his dad, but he's not liking what things that his dad is doing. And so Butcher is really losing it this season. He is literally talking to a hallucination of his wife. Not only that, but we see this weird worm thing crawling up his neck. He's been told he only has 6 months to live and everything. And like, I doubt he's gonna die this season because Kripke literally said it's gonna end with Homelander and Butcher, like, going at it and like finishing their story and everything. And so he's supposed to drug his like stepson and everything and give him to that CIA dude, but he just can't do it. He's feeling sorry for this dude. Butcher does have a heart, but it's really small and it takes a lot to get to it, especially when he's dealing with Supes and everything, because he hates Supes a lot, especially that of Homelander. And so I'm trying to think. Oh, Kimiko. Her storyline is different from last season. I did not like her storyline from last season with her dancing, hallucinating, stuff like that. Basically, she's going to like a counselor and like she's trying to deal with what's going on with her. She's still the most funny member of the group along with that Frenchie. And because it's her facial expressions, it's like, her sign language and everything, how she's always flipping people off and drawing like, penises and everything. She's just like so hilarious. But this season, basically, she's having flashbacks of that cult camp type thing that they put her in to make her into like, a weapon and everything. So when she finds out they're still out and about, she wants to take them down and kill them all. Frenchie goes with her, but he's going through some stuff. Basically, they find this one Asian girl with scars on her face. And she knows Kimiko and everything. How is not revealed yet. Most likely it's a friend, a cousin, or that of a sister. If it's a sister, she just came out of nowhere. And so that's basically what she's going through and getting drunk and stuff. As for Frenchie, on the other hand, his storyline came out of like nowhere. We know that he's done things in the past and, he doesn't get along with other people and stuff like that. But here's the thing. He meets this one guy named Colin. He knows him. Right off the bat, Colin is into him. Kimiko can see this and she literally tells Frenchie that like, I love you, but if he makes you happy, you go be with him and be happy. She's not even trying to fight for this dude, and she literally tells him she loves him. Not only that, but since season one, he has been her closest confidant and everything. He has literally forced their friendship by constantly bugging her, trying to learn sign language, wanting to be her friend, wanting her to act more human, and always having her back. And she doesn't even try to fight for the dude and everything. And so it turns out that they're lovers from the past and everything. And this was the most shocking thing of all. Next to this other thing I'm gonna mention, the butt eating from the dude who had multiple powers. That was so gross and nasty. What is with these writers and butt play? Remember last season when somebody crawled up somebody's butt? This time, this one dude can make he can multiply himself, and he really loves Firecracker, this new suit. And so he basically eats himself out. What in the... I don't need to see that, man. Which, this should shut up Jerry Seinfeld, because Jerry Seinfeld says that because wokeness has destroyed comedy, nobody's allowed to be edgy no more. And there's no more masculine men. Apparently, Jerry Seinfeld, I can't say his name, Jerry Seinfeld has never seen The Boys. He has never seen South Park. He has never seen Reacher, and he's never seen Shoresy. I can't say that name. Shoresy is coming out on the 24th of June on Hulu. So get ready for the third season. God, that's a hard thing to say. Shoresy. Ugh, I hate saying that. Anyway. So, yeah, he's apparently bi and everything. It's well, when the heck did this happen? Because in all the years, he's never been attracted to, a dude. And apparently, he has some backstory with this guy. He murdered his entire family. He never told him that, and he's been blanking him for years and stuff. So, that's interesting. As for the villains of the show, the Supes and everything, Homelander has lost it. He knows he's the strongest person in the world, and he intimidates people or he will kill them. He tells the Deep to go and below that of A-Train, and the Deep's well, what? I don't want to do that. He's all do it and do it now. And A-Train's just kind of standing there pissed off because he knows if he doesn't comply, he's going to get his head lasered off and stuff. So the Deep was about to do it, but then he joked around, but I'm just joking with you and stuff. This is what he does the entire season. He forces people to do things they don't want to do and stuff. And he is literally he's probably the best villain I've ever seen in a long time. And so he scares the crap out of Ashley. Ashley is just kind of there this season. She was funnier last season, but when she saw that the Deep was finna go down on A-Train, she smiled because she likes stuff like that. And so she treats everybody like crap, even Supes, but she's terrified of Homelander. When they found out that this one lady talked to Annie a month ago, he literally lasered her head off. And it scared the crap out of Ashley to the point where she was going to resign at first, but she got scared and ripped up her resignation. And that's a surprise. I did not see that coming and everything. Him lasering her face off. It happens so fast. With Superman, you can always tell it's going to come. But not with this dude and stuff. But he is literally losing it. When he breaks a mirror, he sees multiple versions of himself and he's talking to himself. He feels like he's trying to hold everything on his shoulders, but he's the one causing all this mess. And because he's never had a real father, he doesn't know how to treat Ryan, even causing Ryan to kill somebody by mistake. Because he's starting to see that people love Ryan, and he does not like when nobody overshadows him and stuff. Not only that, but he's getting old and his hair is literally being dyed and stuff like that without him knowing. As for A-Train, he is starting to get redeemed and everything. His brother wants nothing to do with him because he's crippled because of the vault. And he lies to his nephew talking about how much he's a hero. But his brother literally shows up and is all like, your uncle's a fraud. When Homelander wants like the new Seven to like murder like three of his supporters, one being Mother's Milk's wife's ex and everything, A-Train doesn't want to do it. And like, he even and two like Annie's supporters get like arrested and framed. And he gives the footage showing that, they had nothing to do with it and stuff, and that those men were already dead at the hands of like, what's their faces. So he is starting to slowly get redeemed, and Mother Milk can see this, and he's trying to use it to his advantage by trying to turn him like he turned Annie. As for like, the Deep, he's just still him. Like, he's still an idiot. He's talking to his squid or octopus or whatever it is and stuff like that. And he's just literally there. But Sister Sage, the new one, she teaches him to stand up for himself when talking to Ashley because she don't like Ashley and stuff. And he literally threatens to kill Ashley if she doesn't show him no respect. As for Sister Sage, she is brand new. She's the smartest person in the world, and Homelander recruited her because he needs her smarts to figure out how to like rig the system in his favor. In the comics, he does try to take over the government, but by force. Here, he's trying to use his brain by framing stuff. So she is the one literally coordinating a lot of stuff. She is the one who had the vault kill his supporters and frame it on Annie's people. And then she dressed up as an Annie supporter and started a riot with like, the Homelander people. Then like, something else, she's been tricking like the boys into like, like meet like the vault people are supposed to meet at a certain place, so they get wind of that, but it's like a trap. Then she recruits Firecracker. Firecracker is just, she shoots fireworks from her hands, kind of like Jubilee. She's no big deal, but she's all for that right wing like cause. And so she recruits her when everybody's kind of confused as to why the world you want to recruit her for. And that's because she has ties to Annie in the past. She hates Annie to death and is always lying on Annie because Annie lied on her during a beauty pageant back in the day. And she's never forgiven her about that. It would have been nice to see a flashback, but I guess they didn't want to like spend the money on that and stuff. And as for Black Noir, he's brand new because there's a new version. Nobody knows who he is. He's kind of like a paid actor. And like, he's actually that same actor who's always played him, but now he gets to talk. And he won't shut up. And so like, he wants to know what's his motivation and like all this and that. And it's actually a little bit more funny than people give credit to because it's like we know him to be, because then he was always funny, but like a silent funny person. But now he's just like a motor mouth and everything. So yeah. And like, Homelander, he wants to expose the governor lady because he doesn't want her to have anything up on him, and he doesn't like people to outshine him. So he literally like, oh, wouldn't it be great if you like get everybody's trust and expose yourself as a suit? And she doesn't want that at all because they might start like, putting the clues together as she's the head popper and everything. And so, yeah. Oh, one thing I forgot about Sister Sage and everything. She used to work with A-Train, and he literally says that, she doesn't know how to like shut her mouth and this and that. And she's always contradicting that of Homelander. And he doesn't like that. And the odd thing is, she starts a sexual relationship with the Deep. And when she does, there's a strange metal object on the table covered in blood. And they haven't explained yet what that is. Some people speculate it might be used for lobotomy and everything. But is she doing it on herself? Because it's kind of weird, because she was eating some food and she looked kind of out of it and everything. Now, one other interesting thing, before like I wrap it up, is like Homelander's weakness. We see that if you shine bright lights in his eyes, he will get distracted long enough and screw up. Like he lasered a woman in half doing like this vault on ice thing because Huey was trying to put a bug in the ventilation system. He sweated on Homelander, and Homelander tried looking for him in the vents. And so he was, I think Mother's Milk is the one who blinded him with lights, and he lasered this one woman. So it's interesting because him and Annie are like, they're two protesters going at it. Most likely she's going to use her power on him to have somebody get the upper hand on him. And of course, A-Train, he saved Huey from being caught by that of Homelander. So far, this season is really, really interesting. It's not as good as season 1 and 2 or as edgy as season 1 and 2, but it does still keep your like attention and everything. You know, after so many years, they are going to start running out of material, and I can see why he wants to end it after just 5 seasons. Alrighty, well, I'll talk to y'all later. Bye.